So you've decided to make the transition to another company. Good for you. Or is it? Listen, family, the information in today's episode, I really truly mean this when I say I wish I had someone that was giving me this information I'm about to give you today. I'm not trying to overhype the information, this episode today. I'm not trying to overhype it. I'm being so sincere when I say today is one of those episodes you want to save. Today is one of those episodes you want to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button because you're going to say, why is he giving this information away for free? Well, because I want to give my best at whatever I do, whether free or paid. So I ask you, if you trust us, this is not going to be your average, boring resignation advice. Send a resignation letter. No, we're gonna really disrupt. You know what we do here? We disrupt. So, family, today I challenge you to listen to today's episode from beginning to end. There is going to be one gem, maybe two, maybe three gems that's going to arrest your attention about today's episode. Today's episode is entitled. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I go by the name of ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there, listen, that just simply means Ed. I have an 8-point framework, and these 8 points, my goal, my mission is to unpack today's episode, which is entitled How to Resign from a Project Management Job. Again, how to resign from a project management job. This came about. I was reading I hope you don't mind if I share this story with you real quick. I was reading through some information and it came up in my feed. And in my feed, it kind of caught me off guard because it didn't explain what I'm about to articulate here right now. The headline just said help. And I'm like, what is this about? So I opened it up, check it out, and it was funny because I shared a similar story and I said, what if I brought this to the family and I shared with them and then gave them resources how to effectively move forward if you make that decision. And what I learned about the story that I was reading, the story from a high level family, it was talking about, hey, I'm making the transition from this current project management role to another, and I have another opportunity, project management opportunity with another organization. However, my manager has made a decision not to allow me to let anyone else know or let the contractors and let the vendors know that I'll be leaving. And this person was confused, like, why would they do that? Well, today, I got you covered because I'm going to answer that question. Let's get into point number one. Be certain about your decisions. Again, be certain about your decision. We always talk about making decisions, not choices. We always talk about it's better to decide than have a whole bunch of choices because it doesn't help anyone. Reason why I say be certain about your decision, family, because it is an important decision. You want to do. I'm not trying to make you afraid or scared. I want to put the information in front of you, and then we're going to talk about how we combat that. So before you resign, ensure that you've thoroughly considered your reasons for leaving and that you're confident in your decision. Here's an actionable step for you. Reflect on your career goals, your work satisfaction, and your personal circumstances to confirm that resigning is the best choice for you. I've seen people that has made this choice and not the decision about leaving an organization. And you can tell the people that made the choices because they didn't do their homework. They didn't say, well, okay, how is it going to impact this? Meaning, hey, if I go to a new role, all right, how long before I get my first check-in, and am I comfortable enough to be able to handle that while I'm waiting? I'm not talking about something I heard. These are actually some of the experiences that I lived through. So that's why I want to make sure, family, my very first point is ensuring before you make that leap, before you make that jump, before you make that decision, not choice, that you understand that you've done your homework, your due diligence effectively. Again, family, quick plug right here. Saturday, May 4th, 2024. Again, Saturday, May 4th. My mentor, my best friend, Phil, is having this amazing 360 project 360 seminar. Is really going to be for beginners, intermediate, as well as seasoned. Everyone is welcome. I will post the link again in chat. So if you're interested in joining this, I mean, in coming, it's a 4-hour seminar which is going to touch on a lot of different things. And he's also giving free content, free books away, which is, I mean, I, I'm so lost for words because of how amazing this is. Phil always over delivers, yet he under promises. But I mean, if you go there and show up, you're going to be shocked of how well he over delivers. And your boy will be speaking, so I hope you at least come support us. Phil and the rest of our team that's going to be there. I have a little small speaking part, and I'm excited about it because this is what I do. This is this I live and breathe this thing called project management and just life in general. All right, let's move on to point number 2. Be prepared for counter offers. Ooh, that's the tough one. Be prepared for counter offers. Listen, you have to understand your employer may present you with a counter offer, such as like a salary increase or a promotion to retain you. Again, do your homework. Make sure before you. These are the questions. These are the thinking that you need to have before you make the decision to actually leave the organization. Here's an actionable step. Consider in advance how you will respond to the potential counteroffer, weighing the benefits and drawbacks, and accepting or declining based on your career goals and or priorities. Listen, family, just because that organization is offering you a counter offer to whether it's a salary increase or a promotion to retain you, you need to ensure that it aligns with the decision that have already made of leaving the organization. So if you made the decision that you want to leave the organization and they come back and counter offer you, will it make sense based on what you're trying to do? Will it match your career goals? Will it match your priorities? If that's the case, then you should do it. But since I like to keep it all the way transparent here, family, I want to be honest with you. I seen this on it was Goodwill. Yes, Goodwill. So it was a gentleman speaking about counter offers and things like this. And he said something, and I paraphrase here, family. He said, if you made the decision to leave an organization, unless if they ask you back after you go work another opportunity, do not take a counter offer. And at first when he said it, I was confused. I was like, what do you mean don't take a counter offer? The organization, I'm already know everybody here. Why wouldn't I take a counter offer? These are the questions that are running through my mind, family. And what he said was so pathetic. I mean, it was I was like, wow. And it was so simple because he was like, listen, if you decide to do that, right? And I want you guys to work with me and think with me on this one, family. I would love to get your guys' thought on this statement. He said, if you decide to take that salary increase or promotion and stay with the organization may be thinking a couple things. Maybe one, hey, they may leave again, and then they may expect a counter offer again because they're leaving. Or two, well, when they got to make decisions on who do we keep, who do we retain, and who do we let go during layoffs, you may be on that list because of the fact that you were going to leave anyway, so they're just helping you out the door. So I wanted to give you all of that just so you can think through it. That's why I said think in advance. And once you think in advance, then you need to know in advance, hey, I'm willing to take the counter offer if it's offered to me, but I do understand the drawback that when I make the commitment, not the interest, the commitment of resigning, I need to be prepared for what may come with that. It may not happen now, but in the future. All right, let's move on to point number 3. Point number 3, maintain your professionalism. One of the things I've seen when people leave organizations, they get out of that they remove the professional aspect of themselves. I don't know, maybe they feel like they're free. I don't know what it is, but throughout the resignation process, maintain a professional appearance, a professional attitude, a professional thought, being a professional thought leader, and continue to perform your duties to the best of your ability. Don't give less than what the organization has asked for. Give everything that you were doing before you put in your resignation, and treat your colleagues, your stakeholders, with respect and courtesy. And one of the biggest things I want to recommend here too, family, is avoid engaging in negative or unproductive conversations about the reasons you have made a decision to leave, because what will end up happening is there may be some communication that may be misinterpreted, misunderstood, and then it turns into a bigger ordeal than it has to be. So hey, just say, hey, I really don't even want to talk about the reasons why I'm leaving. I'm just grateful that I have this opportunity with you guys here now, and I just want to enjoy the last bit. That's it. You don't need to go into any more further details, because that is your personal reason. Point number 4, be honest but tactful. This is something I've had to work on, family, through my career. I am one of those people that, yes, I will be honest, but my tactfulness, meaning my delivery, I could have done better on. So when discussing your reasons for resigning with your supervisor or colleague, be honest, but be tactful in your communication. Just don't say, you suck, you are a no. Take it, just be, hey, you know what, the organization I'm going to has an opportunity and development for leadership, and whatever it makes sense for you to say. But don't be arrogant about it. Don't use tact when you say it. So what you want to do, here's an actionable step, I always like to give you, especially on challenging ones like this. You want to focus on the positive aspect of your experience with the company and the actual opportunities in your new role, rather than dwelling or leaning back or overthinking all of the negative experiences or grievances that you've had. Let's move on to point number 5. Address a succession plan. One of the things that you want to do, family, if you made a decision to leave, you want to start creating a succession plan. Work with your supervisor or HR, supervisor and HR, to identify potential internal candidates that may be suitable for taking over the role and responsibilities. What I would recommend as an actionable step is provide input on skills, experience, and qualities that are most critical for success in your role. And also recommend any team members who demonstrate strong potential for growth and leadership. And offer to mentor or coach them, the potential successor that may be taking over your projects, because it shows the organization again that uh, you're leaving out of you're being professional on the way you came in is the same way you're leaving, as that's being professional, being tactful, and keeping a certain integrity about yourself. Let's move on to point number 6. Be open to an exit interview. If they offer you a opportunity to have an exit interview, look at this opportunity to provide constructive feedback and insights that can help the company improve its processes and culture. And really think about that before you go into that exit interview. If it's me, I would probably have some points down, so that way I don't get I won't get emotional in my responses, meaning it would be more strategic and tactful, as well as I will have a strategy that will allow them that they could even take for it. So they understood that I just didn't write down anything. I said this was the problem, and I provided 3 to 5 recommendations of how to fix that particular problem. So you're providing solutions. You're not going in there trying to beat them down, say this is a terrible organization. No, because it doesn't matter where you go. Every organization is going to have I'll call them their areas of opportunity per se. So prepare for the exit interview, reflecting on your experiences, and again, identify the areas of strength and opportunities and improvement. But formulate your idea in a more of a suggestive type of approach for the project management function. Point number 7, maintain confidentiality. Family, we have to understand. You want to, just like how you want your privacy or your business respected, this is you need to respect the confidential I don't know why I'm struggling with that today, my apology, of your employer's sensitive information as far regarding the projects, the client relationships, both during and after your resignation process. What I mentioned at the top of this, I talked about something that I read where a project manager was confused of why his manager didn't want him talking with the vendors or talking with other clients or clients, because it's more of a, when you decide to leave an organization, especially if you're someone that they didn't see this coming, or you really provide a lot of value to the organization as far as a project manager or coordinator, or whatever your specific role is. They're going to start they don't want their clients and the vendor, they want to basically control the conversation. So they know if you start talking with the client and saying, hey, I'm leaving, the client gonna say, well, man, you were to really, I enjoy work, why are you leaving, what is the company going? So it starts all of these conversations that potentially does not need to be had. So that's why your manager wants to control that conversation by talking with the clients and vendors themselves versus you doing it, because it may open up a can of worms where you may not know the proper terminology to use regarding saying, hey, this is an HR matter, I can't speak on HR matters. That's probably how your employee is going to respond. And you can't, and a client and a vendor both know they can't ask no more. It's like if a police officer wants to start questioning you and you said, hey, I want a lawyer present, they can't ask you any more questions. It's the same approach like that. So again, what you want to do as an actionable step, family, you want to review any non-disclosure agreements or confidential clauses in your employment contract and ensure that you comply with these obligations, by the way, throughout your whole transition. Point number 8, prepare for potential backlash. This is the one message. This is the one right here, family, that we don't talk about. You don't hear people talk about this, but I want to be honest with you, family. And a lot of this is not intentional. What do you mean by that, ED? Well, some of your colleagues or stakeholders, they may react be very negatively about your resignation, particularly because it's going to either add more workload to them, or it's gonna disrupt them in some form or fashion. And so because it's going to disrupt them, it's like, man, can you just stay an extra month or so? It's going to be things like that. So I just want you to be cognizant of it, be aware that, anticipate potential sources of backlash and develop a plan for addressing these too, these negative reactions or comments, because if you don't, then it's going to be more reaction versus you already have a proactive response to everything. All right, here's one of my bonuses. Set boundaries for your remaining time. What do you mean by that? Listen, you want to be able to establish clear boundaries for your workload and availability during your remaining time with the organization. Reason why you want to do this, family, is because you're going to have a lot of obligations, making sure that the transition this is if you really care, but I think you do because you wouldn't be listening and watching this, is that you want to prepare this to have the next person step in and have success. And by communicating your boundaries and expectations, we always talk about frustration comes from the lack of expectations to your supervisor and team. Emphasizing your commitment to a smooth transition will be well received and well respected. Here's the last and final one. Message. If you work in the field where I've worked in, which is either IT or cybersecurity or informational security, with either one, there's some organizations that will allow you to work out if you say, hey, you put it in a 2-week notice. But there's some out there that, which is this bonus, be prepared for immediate exit. Uh, this has happened to me a couple times, and because I put my resignation in, and the next day they came to me and was like, hey, you don't have to work the full 2 weeks. We just need a day or two just so we can get all your files and understand what is what. Hey, no problem. Don't get upset about this. Don't feel like it's something personal. What it is saying is because they may have had cases or situations where, uh, I'll say, negative employees took it upon themselves to try to do something to the organization, especially in IT, because if you have access to a lot of different things, they want to cut those access off immediately because they don't want you to do something that that may set them back even further. So, or tamper with something that you have no business tampering with because you have the access. So again, have a plan in place for this as well. If you decide to, once you make the decision that you're leaving, if you work on site, I would say slowly but surely start taking, if you got things all in your desk and everything, you might want to just take all of that home, because as soon as you put that notice in, they may just say, hey, you know what, uh, we're gonna let you go. You don't have to work the full 2 weeks. We're gonna make do with what we have. So be prepared for this. It's nothing personal, again, because it's just unfortunately that somebody before you have messed it up, where you could have had the opportunity to work with somebody and downloading the information that with regards to what's going on in the project and connect. You may not get any of that, so just be prepared for that. Here's my closing remarks, family. I have 3 of them, as you know. um, you want to ensure that you're prepared for the potential backlash. I said that again. I said that earlier because a lot of times people don't plan for how they're going to respond for the negative backlash of them deciding to leave an organization. Point number 2, be certain about your decision. Family, I've seen it time and time again of project managers leaving one organization to go over to another, thinking that as they'll say, or the cliche that the grass is greener on the other side. They get over there, it's like, what was I thinking? I wish I could come back. And so I just say to you, family, just make sure that you went through all of the variables of what could and can't happen, and you've made a solid decision and not a solid choice, because that's going to be important. And then I'll probably say my last and final point is, and what I just touched on, is be prepared for an immediate exit. Again, if you work in the IT or informational security, you'll probably see more of that versus if you're working in accounting or some of those other, because I don't know much about that, but I know for a fact when it comes to IT as well as informational security, that yes, they want to get you out, because again, it's not what you did, it's what some people before you done, is where they messed it up in a way where if they don't get you out of there and you actually do something, or something accidentally happened, you will be the first person they blame, unfortunately. Well, family, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I go by the name of D. This is one of those episodes where the impact, if you take about about 2 or 3 of these points that I talked about today, is really going to help you out tremendously, because what I'm trying to coach you and train you on is the importance of thinking ahead if you're making a decision to make a jump from a particular organization. I don't want to create a sense of fear, like you can't go to another organization. No, 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 no. I want you to understand the importance of, when you make this decision, what comes with it. And what comes with it is not a bad thing all the time, but the more you're prepared, the better you'll be able to respond when things happen. I hope you really truly enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed doing it. These are the type of episodes I love putting together, because I've lived this time and time again. And it would have been nice if I had something out there where somebody just told me the truth. Don't tell me about a resignation letter. I know that I could, but tell me about what happens when I put my resignation in and they cut the lights off and say, "Up, have a good day. Thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good night." But anyway, family, until next time, this has been your boy ED, and I appreciate you tuning in.